Hi, my name is Nshalati. Welcome to also the book club. So today we're going to be doing some book recommendations, and I figured since it's June and it's Pride Month, let me share a few book recommendations from the LGBTQ novels that I've read in the past and see if that's something you guys might like. I read all of these books like years ago before I was like, I'm done with romance, but these ones stay in my heart. I think about them from time to time. And for one of the books, I'm actually making an entire video on it. Well, with other books included. But I figured since it's an LGBTQ novel, let me include it here as well. And so, yeah, if this is something you guys will like, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share the video and comment any LGBTQ novels that you think I might like, as well as let me know if you like the books that I've recommended. The first book on my list is Tryst Six Venom by Penelope Douglas. If you know me, you know I love Penelope Douglas. I'm pretty sure I've read all of her books up until 2021, maybe 2022. Anything past that, I have not read. And that's because she's a romance author. And despite how much I love Penelope Douglas, I don't want to read romance right now. It is a very, very difficult genre for me to get into. But Tryst Six Venom, I love. And I love it because it was my first introduction into sapphic relationships. I love the fact that Clay and Olivia are two high school girls that fall in love, despite the fact that they start off as enemies. So it's an enemies to lovers romance novel where you have Clay, who is our bully in the story, bullying Olivia, and then after a while you realize that she has a little bit of internalized homophobia and she wants to capture that sense of freedom that Olivia has as an openly lesbian girl. So we watch these two girls fight, fall in love, fall out of love, and fall back in love again and again. It's so beautiful. I love it. I think when I read it in 2021 or 2022, I was like enamored with their story. I think I read that whole story, which was like, I think 500 pages, maybe just about less, in 2 days flat. And that was still during the time when I was reading the books like myself. So that took a lot of time, but I enjoyed every single second of it. I think what resonated with me a lot was the fact that these two girls were able to find each other and find themselves in their love story. And it carried them. It carried them even through the hardest times in their lives. I also like the fact that the relationship that Olivia has with her brothers was beautiful. It enhances the person she is, and it shows you what Clay was lacking because her family situation was a little bit bad. So I really enjoyed that whole story, and every single page was worth my time. And sometimes I think about the one quote from that book that stays in my heart, or rather two quotes, but the one that stays in my heart a lot is the one where Clay says to Olivia during like this big brawl, like people are fighting, and she simply says, "I'm not gay, I'm just in love with you." I think that's my favorite quote from that entire book, despite the fact that the other quote that I love, like reminds me to try and live as freely as I possibly can. And so when I read this book and I go back into this book, I'm in awe of what they've been able to do. It's so good. I love it. Should I go back and read it? Okay, I'll probably go back and read it. But yeah, this is a book that I enjoy so much, and I think you guys will have a great time with too. So the next book on our list is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Fun fact, I've actually made a video about this. So if I'm able to upload that video before I upload this one, I will have a card up here. But if not, I'm funny. Just know there's a more in-depth video about the seven husbands of Evelyn Hugo coming. It's made. It's made. It's 3/4 edited, but I have not released it. So fun. But hey, this book is a historical fiction novel by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Love Taylor Jenkins. Love Taylor Jenkins. So the story is about a movie star named Evelyn Hugo who lives in Hollywood during the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And she is also a bisexual woman who is struggling with the fact that she has to appear a certain way with all the marriages that she has, whilst being a bisexual woman in love with a woman named Celia St. James, who is a lesbian woman who thinks Evelyn Hugo is probably one of the most beautiful and yet selfish and stubborn woman she's ever come across. The story is amazing. This is my third favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid story, and when the video I've made comes out, you'll understand why. There's so many aspects to this particular story that make me want to question how authentically are we all living in the world. And this has nothing to do with whether or not you are gay or not, but how authentically are you living your life in this world. So I really enjoy books that challenge you to question your reality. Is your reality the one you really want to live? Or is this the part that is most comfortable, the most sought after, the one that everybody is supposed to take, right? And so you watch someone like Evelyn Hugo be as ambitious and as resilient about staying the course of staying a celebrity, staying the star, becoming the biggest movie star in her time, while struggling to show people who she really is. Because being bisexual is a part of who she is. She just can't show that. She needs to show that she is a woman who loves getting married to men, and that should be it. But she's more than that. She is a great mother. She is a movie star. She is a great lover to Celia, and she is one of the most flawed characters that I've come across, but she is somebody you want to love, because even in her stardom, in her celebrity, she's still human. And when people try to remove humanity from a person like Evelyn Hugo, you lose her soul, you lose her essence, you lose the motivations that she has for herself, and you stop understanding why she makes the decisions she makes. I love Evelyn Hugo, and I love what Taylor Jenkins Reid has done in that particular book. So that is a really, really great one. I think one of the quotes in the book that kind of encapsulates what she's dealing with in the whole story is when she says, "I spent half my time loving her and the other half hiding how much I loved her." Evelyn! What a beautiful, 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 beautiful quote by her. But another quote that I want to read to you guys, because it's part of this book. Does it have anything to do with what I've said so far? No, but I think this quote encapsulates the humanity and the forgiving nature that Evelyn has towards the people she loves. And it simply says, "But if you have to go, then go. Go if it hurts. Go if it's time. Just go knowing you are loved, that I will never forget you, that you will live in everything Connor and I do. Go knowing I love you purely, Harry, that you were an amazing father. Go knowing I told you all my secrets because you were my best friend." I want to cry, but I'm not going to cry because I'm a big girl. In the next section, we're going to be talking about TJ Klune's novels. TJ Klune writes quite a number of LGBTQ novels. I'm pretty sure all of his books are. I might be wrong, but I think all of them, or 90% of his books, are LGBTQ novels. Most of them are paranormal, fantastical novels, but a few of them are somewhat based in reality in a sense and don't have too much mysticism, but they have magic. All of them have magic. And I love that. I love like a book where we step away from just your ordinary contemporary living lives. No, we need to go and move chairs using our eyes. That's the type of thing that I look for sometimes. And during my TJ Klune phase, I was looking for all the kinds of books that would give me that feeling, and TJ Klune does that really, really well. The first book we're going to be talking about is Under the Whispering Door. So Under the Whispering Door is a story about a purgatory of sorts. So basically this tea shop functions as a waiting station where souls after they die come and stay for a little while until they are ready to move over to the afterlife. In the tea shop, they are looked after by Hugo, who is like the main guardian, I guess we could call him that. He's the main guy who helps these souls move over to the next life. He comforts them. He gives them solace and acceptance that they have died. And then he helps them go into the door. And then after getting into that door, they're in the afterlife. Hugo is also helped by a waitress. I forgot what her name is. For some reason, a Kenzie is coming to mind, but I'm pretty sure that's because I've heard the name Kenzie in like the last hour. So, but whatever her name is, she is the one who goes and collects the souls wherever they are. So sometimes she finds the souls at their own funerals, going to see who has come, how the funeral has happened, because souls just die and then they don't know what happened afterwards. So they go and see their own funeral just to kind of make peace with the fact that they died. And sometimes people don't make real peace with the fact that they died, so they go to the tea shop and then they have Hugo to help them. So one of the souls that has died is Wallace, and Wallace is essentially struggling to make peace with the fact that he has to move over to the afterlife. So him and Hugo essentially have this relationship where he's a spirit, Hugo's a real person, but they have this dynamic, and then they have this like connection, and it's so cute, man. It's so cute. The story is very, very nice because we step away from the physical, because they are not, or rather Wallace is not a physical being, and we focus more on their emotional connection with one another and not necessarily the physical. So I really, really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the fact that by the end of the book, we all get what we want, because like, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but I really, really enjoyed Under the Whispering Door, and it was different. It helps you question and challenge your understanding of life after death. It makes you wonder what's going to be happening afterwards. And as a person who thinks about that stuff quite a lot, I'm like, this was a nice breather, because it gives you the alternative that maybe after you die, it's not going to be completely back, or you're going to go straight to heaven, straight to hell, or wherever you believe you're going to go or end up. But rather there's a waiting station for you to be able to make peace with the life that has essentially happened to you at that point. And then the next book is The House in the Cereulean Sea. So this one, I think this was my first TJ Klune book. This might have been my first one. And it was so weird and wonderful. And I had so much fun reading it that I was like, I want to see what TJ Klune does. And that's when you realize TJ Klune is super, 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 super talented in being able to create all these strange and wonderful worlds that his characters live in. So I was like, I want more of this. So when I read The House in the Cerulean Sea, I was fascinated with this big word in the middle of the title named Cerulean, and I was like, what does Cerulean mean? And I found out it's a type of blue. So but it was great to know that. It was great to learn that, which is weird because I'm a person who reads, so you'd assume that I'd come across this word before. No. But yeah, I read this book, and this book is basically about magical youths. So there are different I guess they're species. Should we call them species? Or strange beings. They a bunch of strange beings being looked after by this man named Arthur. So Arthur is running a orphanage for these strange beings. They have like powers. They have like different powers, and Arthur loves these children because they are children to him, and hence why he's running this orphanage. And so the government is aware of magical youths in their world. So they want to find out whether or not they should shut down this particular orphanage. So they send in a caseworker named Linus. Yeah, I think his name is Linus. And Linus goes in to see how bad these kids are. And then he meets them and he finds out, oh my gosh, they're kids. They're kids who get up to mischief because they're kids, but they have superpowers. So he falls in love with that particular community of people. And the story is good because the story is in part about trying to figure out whether or not to destroy the orphanage and the children and the people working at the orphanage, or to keep it alive. And the only way one would be able to decide whether or not to keep them alive is to build a connection with them. So Linus builds a connection with the kids, he builds a connection with Arthur, and that's where our LGBTQ romance comes in between Arthur and Linus, because they're both men. And so it becomes so cute because the relationship they build with one another stops being about doing the right thing for the world and starts being about these kids, because these kids are the most important thing, despite the fact that they're different to like normal kids with no powers. They're still kids, and the relationship is birthed from that connection and their love for these children. So, loved it. You should check it out if you like fantasy paranormal stories. And if you like a little bit of LGBTQ included in there, this is a good start. And then you can move on to the other normally based ones, and then, yeah. So after reading The House in the Cereulean Sea, I moved to Under the Whispering Door. And then for some reason, I stopped reading TJ Klune. I think it was because TJ Klune hadn't had other books by that point, or there was a reason I stopped reading TJ Klune, so I moved on to other authors. And then a few years later, when I was walking somewhere, I was like, hey, I want to read stories by TJ Klune. Let me find stories by TJ Klune. Then I came across the book called Heartsong. So when I first read Heartsong, which is part of the Green Creek series, I didn't know it was a series. I read the third book first. So the third book holds a place in my heart, unlike the other books. Despite the fact that the first book is freaking amazing, the third book is where my heart stays. Heartsong. But basically, that was like very, very crazy to me, because I was like, okay, let's read Heartsong. Heartsong, I read it. I loved it. I was obsessed with the couple. The couple there was Robbie and Kelly. And basically, Robbie has lost his memory of the Bennett family. He's lost any sense of who he is, and he got kidnapped. So after he was kidnapped, the Bennett family tries to get him back, because Kelly, which is his mate, is like, I want my person back. Bring back my person. And so the Bennett family helps Kelly get Robbie back. So the story is about Robbie living a life where he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember his family. He was told that hunters killed his parents, and then he started living in the place that he was living, where the story starts. And then the Bennetts kidnap him, and when they kidnap him so that they can help him remember, because when he meets them, he's fighting with all of these people, and he doesn't realize that they know him, they love him. That story was my favorite. But all of this to say, Green Creek series is phenomenal. It is about wolves. So what you're going to do? It's about wolves, alphas, omegas, betas. It's all about all of them. I love it. I'm strange, but anyway, so it's about werewolves who live as humans but change into werewolves when they need to, and life as werewolves. The series has 4 books in it. The first one is Wolfsong with Ox and Joe Bennett. Love them to death. They are our alphas, which is very, very strange, because packs usually only have one alpha, but then Ox and Joe both are the Bennett family Pax alphas, so that was different, and I loved their story. Then we moved on to Ravensong. Ravensong has Goro Livingstone, who is the witch of the Bennett pack, as well as Mark Bennett, who is like uncle to Joe Bennett. I love that story, but I can't remember what happens in that story particularly, but it's a second chance romance, because I think, if I remember correctly, the Bennets leave and go and live in the part of the world where Robbie was kidnapped to, and the Bennets were like the big werewolves of the werewolves in America, if I remember correctly. And so they left Goro. They left Goro in Oregon. And when they left Goro, Goro had to break up with Mark. And so they were not happy. And the reason Mark had to leave with the Bennett pack is because his alpha, which was Joe's dad, and his brother was like, listen, dude, you can't stay here. We can't protect you if you're here. And Goro's like, but I'm a witch. I have like, so I can protect. They were like, you can stay here. As Pax, we need to be together. So he needs to come with us. There's no ways we can leave him behind. We need you to stay here and protect the Oregon land because it's the Bennett family's land. It's like thinking the CEO of a small regional office gets a promotion and now he needs to move with his family. He can't just leave his family down there. So he moves with his family to the big town, big city headquarters, and then he leaves somebody to look after the house. So basically that's what happens in that story. But loved it. Witch and Werewolf, loved it. Then the third story, as I mentioned, is Heartsong. I talked about Heartsong already. And then the last story in the series is Brothersong. So Brothersong is about Carter and Gavin. So Gavin is a wolf who never wants to change back into his human form because he's very, very feral and walks around following Carter everywhere. It's like, imagine if your dog just wanted to follow you everywhere, but your dog is in love with you. There. So that's what happens in the first 3 books. But in the last one, Gavin stops being feral and morphs into normal human. Love that. And he becomes normal human for Carter because he wants to protect Carter all the time. So when Carter decides to leave the pack and the wolves are crying at the end of the 3rd book, Carter leaves, and then the feral werewolf named Gavin, he goes with. It's so cute. It's so cute. And the main tension of the series is that everybody except the Bennets are trying to hold the position of like the most high werewolf, and the most high werewolf needs a witch. So they're trying to defeat the most high werewolf because the witch, who is Goro's dad, wants too much power. That's like the main tension of all 4 books. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because our couples get together and I love that. I love them. So yeah, that's that series. Let's do an honorable mention. So this honorable mention is for Krista and Becca Ritchie. These 2 authors write books together. I think they're twins or they're sisters. Okay, at the least they're sisters, but I think they might be twins. So they write this series. It has Addicted to You and all of those. It's about the parents of the kids in the Like Us series. So in the Like Us series, the first 3 books are the ones I want to talk about mostly. So the first 3 books about Maximoff and Farrow, and basically Maximoff is the famous one and Farrow is his bodyguard. Farrow and Maximoff have a relationship. In the first book, it's very, very secret. In the second book, the family knows. In the third book, the public knows. So the thing I liked about the story is that it was my first introduction into LGBTQ novels, and I loved it. I tell my friend that I don't want to talk about Krista and Becca Ritchie, not because they are bad writers, of course not. I've wasted hours of my life reading many books of theirs. I'm pretty sure I've read like at least 20 of their books, and that's not because I really hate reading their stuff. No, there's no ways I'd waste 20 books of my life on people I hate. So I read these books and I love these books. But the thing that I really disliked about these books is that it brings up the question, why can't celebrities be allowed to live normal lives? Sure, people have decided to share their music, they share themselves in movies and shows with the public, but that doesn't mean that they can't be individuals who can't go out and just live normal lives, go to like a McDonald's, eat a burger without being bombarded for photographs, autographs, and all of that stuff. So I think all the books that are in this particular world kind of make me question all the time, like, why can't people just live the way they want to live? And the fact that this book doesn't actually answer that is annoying, and is the reason why I don't want to read any more of their books. They focus a lot on what the public perception will be. Sometimes the takes are like, I don't think people care like that, but I'm not famous, so I'll never know how far the public goes because of people that they adore and love. But I really enjoyed the love story between Farrow and Maximoff. And it was a great introduction into the LGBTQ space, because we all have these preconceptions about how LGBTQ people live their lives. And then this story tackles a completely different aspect of that, where you see them living their lives like normal people, because at the end of the day, they're normal people who are in relationships. It just so happens with people of the same sex, people of whatever, and who cares? Like, who cares? Let people live their lives the way they want to live their lives. And I'm for that. And I really enjoyed that about this particular story. Another thing I liked about the story was the fact that there are 4 books. There are 4 books. Okay, I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic as hell. I didn't like the fact that there were 4 books. I'm pretty sure we could have put all of their story into 2 books. If we were moving past 1 book, we were going to get up to 2 books if we were being serious about cutting out some of the fluff. But sometimes you realize that the fluff makes you love the characters more. There are certain things, if you pull them out, will not change the trajectory of the story, will not change the plot line of the story, but it takes away from the humanity of these characters. So sometimes I'm like, okay, these books are too long. They don't need to be this long. But they infuse a little bit of humanity that would otherwise create really, really 2-dimensional people, which would suck even worse than a long book. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And then another LGBTQ type of setup is the polyamorous relationship that happens in like books 7, 8, and 9, if I'm not mistaken. In those 3 books, we have a polyamorous relationship with 2 bodyguards and 1 famous girl. So they have that relationship. The first book is about figuring out who she wants to be with between 1 bodyguard over another bodyguard. And then in the second book, the family finds out. In the third book, the public finds out. So you see, it's a bit repetitive, but the storylines are a little bit different because we're dealing with different couples and all of that stuff. But I really, really think that wasn't too bad. I might not have finished the third one. Because I was like, I'm not about to read about public caring about celebrities in a way that I don't necessarily know is true. So it seems a lot more exaggerated than it needs to be. So I'm not a fan of that. So no. A particularly notable quote in the story for Maximoff and Farrow is a quote that I think about all the time. It lives in my heart because it's so profound. My goodness. It's Dum spero spero, which is a classic Latin phrase that translates to while I breathe, I hope. It's so good. I love it because it reminds you that as long as you wake up, there's still a chance to change your situation, your circumstance. In this particular instance, it's more about, as long as I breathe, I hope that you and I will live together forever and love each other forever and ever. But at the core of it, it's about being able to get up and continue every single day, which I think is very, very important. And I really, really enjoy that about these particular books. And yeah. So I'm done. These are all the books that I think are really, really great LGBTQ novels that you guys should check out. I've had a few others that I can't for the life remember. Because, you know, if you've read as many books as I have, all of these books tend to like muddle up together. So the ones that stand out are the ones that I'm going to come and tell you guys about. So these ones I thought were really, really great because they have like really, really great things that come out of them. And so you guys should check them out if you want to check out the books that I read. And then don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to comment any LGBTQ novels that you think that I might like. I'm not promising anything because we know how I feel about romance. We know how I feel. And so I might not read them. But if you think that it could go against some of my hard hitters, then go for it. Go for it. Go for it. And so, yeah, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to share the video with all your friends. Okay, bye, guys.